Welcome to Church Online. We're so excited to be able to be gathering in homes and communities all around.
You may notice that we are on a new platform, so make sure you take a look around. We've got a chat bar right over here. We have hosts to be able to connect with you. This is an amazing opportunity during the message, during worship, that if you have things that have stood out to you, things God's speaking, putting on your heart, make sure you write it over here and connect with one another. And again, if you haven't yet filled out a Connect card, make sure you click the Connect with Us button right above us to fill that out.
And along those lines, if you need prayer at any point during service today, at the bottom of the screen, there's a live prayer button. If you click on that, you're going to be put into a chat room with someone who wants to pray with you in that moment and meet you where you're at.
And for those of you who have kids, make sure you check out our View Kids page. You can do that after service by clicking on the Kids tab right above us. It's going to take you to a place where we've got kids lessons directly for your kids. It's going to take you to a place with activities and daily devotions and so many other things for you as a family to grow together.
Yep, and now we're going to continue in our service with our tithes and offerings. So I know that we're not going to be passing baskets today, but we do still have some simple ways for you to be able to give. The first of which is online at viewchurch.co or on the button at the screen above us. You're able to text the word View Church to 77977 and set up giving that way, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. But let's go ahead and pray over our tithes and offerings. So Jesus, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be generous and to give towards your kingdom. We pray that these funds would just continue to grow the kingdom more and more, and that you would reach people who just so desperately need you. Jesus, we love you. We praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Church at Home. What is this, week 3 edition?
Yep.
Come on. Coming from like our couch living room setting. And hey, if you're on the new platform that we launched this weekend, hey, make sure that you are engaged in the comments. There's people that want to pray with you, people that want to talk with you and kind of be engaged. And
yeah, I love this thing. You can add prayer requests. You can just chat with somebody who's on. You can even say that you met Jesus on there, and we can respond to that. So make sure that you engage with this new platform.
Hey. And I'm loving this too. I call this my uniform. I've basically been wearing these pants as I've been quarantined and some version of this pretty much every single day. Kara today showed up in jeans, and I looked at her and I go, what are you doing? That's very unquarantined
like sometimes though, you just got to get in real clothes.
How long were you in jeans?
Like an hour.
Yeah, maybe an hour. It happened. Hey, I love it. Today we start a new series getting ready for Easter. Remember, in the midst of our quarantine and all that's going on, Easter, it's coming up here April 12th, and we start a new series leading up to it called The Way. The Way. It's here starting, okay?
Yeah.
As we are getting ready for that, if there's a way, okay, let's talk about this a little bit. If there's a way that we find in John 14, verse 6, if you want to pull it up on your Bible. Oh, really cool about the new location you guys are. You can pull up the Bible right now on the left column.
That's so cool.
I absolutely love this. Even a kid's Bible as well. Open it up, John 14:6, what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm really excited about just the way that we're doing this. And so Kara and I, we're going to talk. We're going to hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to worship a little bit. Then I'm going to teach,
yeah.
and then we'll finish with a conversation.
Sounds good. So there's a way to do things that are right, and there's a way to do things that are wrong, right?
Obviously. So let's go over some right ways and some wrong ways to do some things.
Ooh, this will be good.
Kara and I have an innate ability to disagree. Okay. Anybody else? Any other marriage? There's a right way, wrong way. But hey, let's start with you converted me.
I did. I converted you. Now, I feel like this is a big topic of conversation right now. Toilet paper. I mean, everyone's going crazy about toilet paper, but there is a right way to put toilet paper.
There is. I concede there is a right way.
On the little thing there. So what do you...
I don't know. What is that thing
the
called?
Little bar, the
whatever
toilet
it's
paper
called.
bar, whatever it is. There's a right way. And we think... I think, and I've converted him, that over is the right way to lay the toilet paper.
Come on, hey, I want you in the comments. Are you an over person or an under person? There could be some controversy. Maybe people jumping offline in this moment. I mean, big conversation.
Stick with us. Stick with us.
Yeah, come on, stay.
We'll get you saved by the end.
I'm an over now. 11 years ago when we got married, I was for sure an under. Now I'm an over. Neither right and wrong. iPhone, we're on the same page. iPhone, wrong. Droid. I mean, anything other than iPhone.
It sounded like you were saying iPhone was wrong. I was like,
no.
what
iPhone
wrong?
right.
iPhone,
Droid. Anything other than iPhone is wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. Okay, here's a hot one in our home right now. No pun intended. The temperature of our home. Kara, what are you?
70 degrees. 70 degrees is perfect. Nothing less than 70 degrees. But
No. 66 to 68 at all times.
I don't want to be like inside in a sweatshirt and socks and
Listen,
boots.
I already paid for your sweatshirt. Why raise the heat when you can put it on?
I just want to be comfortable in my
Put
home.
on wool socks.
Oh,
all
my
the time. Married people in the room, how often do you get a foot across the bed? I'm like, my toes are cold. Well, put on socks. But I got to suffer because
You're
you don't
complaining about it because of the temperature. You could solve the issue.
Well, that's a pretty good point. I'm not going to, though. I'm not going to get... Hey, something else that right? My mustache. Come on.
Oh, my goodness.
Word. This thing is baller. I'm so proud of my mustache. I've never done this before. I don't know if you can
my
really
gosh.
tell because it's kind of wrong at the same time. Hey, make sure you're putting your comments in. Do you like my mustache? I know you do. Don't even... That's
Please.
all right.
All the emojis of the mustache and then like the puke signal. I love it.
There's a lot of right ways and there's a lot of wrong ways to do things.
Yeah.
I mean, a right way to live life and really, truly a wrong way as we converse about this today.
Yeah, there's a lot of wrong ways. We can get lost in a lot of those wrong ways. Hey, about 9 years ago, I got lost. I went on a trip.
I love the story.
I went on a trip with my friend Kyle, the great husband that he is. He bought my friend and I tickets to go see Wicked, the Broadway musical. And it was in Canada. It was in Vancouver, BC. I'd never been to Vancouver, BC before. I never went to Canada before. And so my friend Jess and I, we go and drive to Canada, and this is 9 years ago. We're doing Google Maps on our phones and we get into Canada, we go to the play, and then we start to head home. And because we had entered the Google Maps in before we left, it had the directions to get there. But then when we were coming back home, we couldn't get on the internet. We didn't have international data.
You didn't have the data. Was that my fault? Was I too cheap?
Oh, no, like who had international data back then?
That's a good point.
And so we were trying to figure out how to get back home, trying to like backtrack our steps, and we got so lost. We get like 30 minutes out. We have no idea where we were. And I kept saying like, what's the way? I can't figure out the way to get home. And we in this series that we're doing, the way, it's out of John 14:6, and just before this passage, though, Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he's preparing them for him to go to the cross, for him to leave them, and so he has communion with them. He introduces Judas, or not introduces Judas, but he says that Judas is going to betray him, and then even in this moment, he says, Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times. And so I can just feel the tension in the room.
It's kind of a wild moment kind of happening as this is unraveling.
Yeah, things are not, it's not happy-go-lucky right at this moment. And so he responds to them at chapter 14, verse 1. He says, don't let your heart be troubled. He says, in the moments after this, I'm preparing a place for you. You know the way. And the disciples are like, where's the map? Like, I don't know the way. Show us the way. What are you talking about? We don't know.
I love this moment too, because Jesus is saying this like he's participating, like you do know the way, like you should know this, guys. And they're, I mean, very much like us, like we know what we should be acting and like how we should feel right now, but oftentimes get confused or get lost in the midst of that. And they're like, you walk with me, you know that I'm the way. Come on, disciples.
And so similarly, like as Jess and I were in Vancouver, BC, and we're trying to figure out our way back home, I had this like epiphany moment, like, no, you do know the way. Go south.
I love this I love this story so
Just
much.
go south.
You don't know how many times we've been in the car and I've been like, and we've driven somewhere multiple times.
Yeah.
And I'll go drive there, you know, I'll flex on you. If I drive somewhere one time, I can get there again another time. Kara's like, how did you do that? And I'm like,
I still
"Hey,
Google Maps my way
pay
around."
attention." She'll Google Maps to her childhood home. We'll be in her hometown.
Just to see how long it will take.
Oh, no, she's gonna get there. It's unbelievable. I
gosh.
love this story.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, like go south. And back then, about 9 years ago, in the iPhone 4s, maybe I'm getting my timeline wrong, but the iPhone that we had came with the compass already embedded into the phone. And so we took out the compass, and the compass told us how to get home because we knew when we were going south, when we might have taken like 2 hours longer than normal, but we had the way like in the palm of our hands. And Jesus, when he's talking to the disciples, he says, no, you know the way. In verse 6, he says, Jesus told him, he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you know me, you will also know my Father. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. I mean, so many people are lost right now, and they're saying, what's the way? Where do I go? And just kind of looking at all these different directions. And Jesus is saying, no, you have me. I am the way, I'm the truth, and the life. And if you want to go to the Father, you go through me.
And I love that this series lined up so well with really kind of what's going on in our world. We didn't have to change anything, but God's the way. And week 2, we'll look at the truth and the life, but like, where are we going? How do we see Jesus during this time? And I'm really excited for this conversation we're going to have. And again, kind of order of service is Karen and I, we're going to have this conversation. And in just a moment, Andrew and Ryan are going to lead us in an abbreviated version of a song. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to teach for a little bit. And then Karen and I are going to finish the conversation after another worship song. And there'll be time for extended worship at the end. We kind of want to give you the order of service. Don't jump off. Make sure that you're going with the comments and maybe even participate right now. Like, I am kind of lost in my way. I do need prayer for that. There's teams and people that want to pray with you right now.
Yeah, so we're going to go into Waymaker right now. Think of the words. Think about the way, who Jesus is, as we reflect on that. And then Kyle is going to teach here in just a moment.
Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keep, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Sing, that is who you are. 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 Jesus. Oh, it's who you are. I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop, 'cause that is who you are. 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 Oh, Jesus.
This last week, our governor, Jay Inslee, appropriately issued a stay-at-home order. And, as the novel coronavirus just spreads, it's dramatically changed our world. And, man, it just seems like a few short weeks ago, like life was normal, you know what I mean? Like life was just every day was like it was the last. And, just we met as we pleased as a church. Our view groups were going, sports were happening. Our church, View Church, was getting ready to launch a third service. There's so many things, and it just seems as if in a matter of hours, everything changed. And how quickly we can go from normal life to our lives being turned upside down. And I don't know about you, but I'll be transparent and honest. It's been emotional. It's been an emotional whirlwind for me. I've had so many different emotions, and I think three ones that come up regularly are I've been discouraged, I've been scared, and I've been worried. But also, like my faith during this time has had another side of it as well. And my faith right now, if my emotions have been discouraged and scared and worried, my faith has been hopeful, excited, and ready. My faith for what's going on to our world, my faith with what's going on with the local church, and really watching all of these different churches interact with the world. I'm hopeful for the local church. I'm excited for what Jesus is doing, and I'm ready. I'm ready to participate. And I think we got to recognize the difference between our emotions and our faith. Your emotions equal your flesh. What your flesh is craving, the way that your flesh is responding. But your faith is your spirit. And that it's one of the fruits that we're coming out of that, and knowing that our spirit is able to be guided and aided, and our faith is being raised. And this is not a pause season. I want to be very clear. We are not, as a church, we will not physically be together, and you're on this online platform, and it's different, and different things are going on. But this is not a pause season. This isn't a stop season. This is a faith season. I want to show this is a faith season. This is God doing something different we have an opportunity to be a part of revival, to be a part of something that can really drastically change the course of humanity when it comes to knowing Jesus. And as we come through this, and during this season, I've been reminded as I was on a Zoom call. Man, shout out to Zoom. They're dominating the world right now. I feel like I'm on 10 Zoom calls a day when it comes to meetings with other pastors. And one of my pastors' friends brought up Acts chapter 3, verses 1 through 10, where Peter and John, they heal a beggar who'd been lame since he was born. And as he brought that story, I instantly ignored the call and opened my Bible, and God just began to speak to me. And I want us to learn together this Sunday through this passage, just verse by verse. So open your Bibles. Again, if you're on the online platform, you can, on the left side, you can click Bible, and you can open up your Bible. I'm reading the ESV translation. And so Acts chapter 3, starting in verse 1 all the way to verse 10. And we're just going to take it line by line and kind of have a conversation today. It reads this, Acts chapter 3, verse 1. Now Peter and John were going up to the temple at the hour of prayer, the 9th hour, okay? This is normal life. This is like a normal day for them. They're just going to church. They're going to pray together. This is like something they would do daily. This is something that is very average. Everyone would be there, or most people would be there. And like, I read this passage. I'm like, remember daily routines? Oh my gosh. Do you remember just normal day? Do you remember just normal life? Like, okay, check this out. Remember going to Costco on a Saturday and people thought you were crazy? Now, if you go to Costco, you're actually crazy. Remember remember the gym. Remember Starbucks. Oh my word. Remember, I could mobile order and walk into a Starbucks and not talk to anybody so fast right now. I would be so excited to be able to do something normal. Remember the phrase cabin fever? Like, remember when cabin fever was actually a thing? Now you actually know what cabin fever really is. And here are these two guys. They're normal. They're heading into the temple for a day of prayer. And it's just a normal happening, normal day of life, normal, but it gets interrupted. Here in just a couple of verses, it gets interrupted. I think we're in an interrupted moment. It says in verse 2, Acts chapter 3, verse 2. And a man lame from birth was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, that is called the Beautiful Gate, to ask alms of those entering the temple. We learn later in Acts chapter 4, verse 22, that this guy is actually, he's over the age of 40, and just kind of so you get an age range of what he is. And he would be there because this was either his source of income, his family source of income, or what people would do in that day and age. They would basically own somebody and put them in front of a temple and have them beg and give them a percentage of that. And oftentimes people would use these types of people. And alms would mean, so he's begging for alms. Alms would mean, it's just a strange word for money or for food. He's trying to gain goods to either pay people, to either provide for his family or for himself. And in verse 3, it says this. It says, seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, he asked to receive alms. So he asked for food. He asked for money. And imagine that. Like, this is not our context at all. Like, imagine walking into church. Imagine this. Walking into church, and you say you come to View Church, and you're in the carport, and there's just someone sitting there who's physically incapable of moving themselves. They would have to get carried, and they'd be asking for money. Would be very strange for our world and for what we're experiencing. And many of us are experiencing a not so normal interruption in our life right now. We're experiencing, like, you don't even like church online. I mean, you're like, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. You got your kids. Any families right now? You got your kids, and you're trying to manage the chaos of your family, but then trying to do church like a good Christian, and you're trying to engage because it's the normal thing that we do, and you don't know if you should give them the iPad right now or you should wait a little bit longer, but you got to take the Instagram picture first and add it to your story so then View Church will repost it. Come on, little shout out right there. I mean, like, you're trying to figure out how to do, but it's an interruption. It's not very normal. You're trying to figure this thing out, and our life right now is one big interruption. Like, it's just one big interruption. Our work, our family life, our finances, your vacation you planned, your plans in general, your social life, they've all been interrupted. And what you do in interruptions is really important. Week 1 of our interruption of this whole coronavirus, and Kara and I, we gave up. Any other give up people? We gave up. We ate our feelings. We ate everything in sight. We went with a full give up mode, like scramble, eat whatever you want. And week 2, we've decided that it's fitness and clean eating. Anybody else? Like we are, like, week 1 was give up. Week 2 was like, all right, let's get our butts in gear. Let's start setting the alarm again. Let's do these kinds of things. And see, interruptions are opportunities to regain our focus on what matters most in our life. Let me say that again. Interruptions, they quite often, and it's possible that they can be opportunities to regain our focus on what matters most in your life. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting more family time than really ever. I'm getting to play football in the middle of the day with my kids in the backyard. Just throw the ball with them. And I'm getting time where I'm home, and I've listened to my daughter watch Frozen 2 too many times now. I'm getting a lot of family time. I'm getting a slower pace of life because there's less to do. I can't go out of the house anymore. I've got to stay I'm getting projects done. There's projects and family things, and I'm finding moments where we're home during the day and just worship music is playing. And see, it's an interruption, absolutely, but it also is an opportunity for me to engage my family. And what maybe in the comments or to whoever you're with right now, begin to write in, like, what are the biggest areas of your life that you've regained focus during this season, or maybe need to regain? You've ignored reading your Bible. You've ignored your prayer life. You've ignored doing the dishes. And maybe you need to spend some time during this season to regain that focus. Take this time. Don't waste it. Remember, this isn't a pause season. This is a faith season. Let's build our faith during this season. The passage goes on in verse 4, and it says, and Peter directed his gaze at him, as did John. So here Peter and John both look at this beggar. They said, look at us. Look at me. I'm the captain now. Look at me. I had to. I'm sorry. And he fixed his attention on them, expecting to receive something from them. I love this moment because Peter and John didn't ignore him. They didn't ignore his situation. They didn't ignore his ask. They didn't ignore the acknowledgement. They didn't look the other way. They didn't have a moment where they ignored it, but they looked him in the eyes easily. They could have been focused on, I'm walking into church. Like, get off me right now. Like, don't bother me. Don't you know where I'm going? I'm going into the Lord's house. Leave me out of this. And I want to remind you today, like Peter and John did to me, is don't fix your focus on yourself in this season. Don't fix your focus on yourself in this season. Don't lose care during this time. Don't lose generosity during this time. Don't lose love during this time. I mean, yeah, you absolutely need to, don't neglect yourself, but don't focus on yourself. We need to share love. We need to share Jesus. We need to help people. We need to love people. Jesus is always, I know all throughout the scriptures, Jesus is always focused on others. He's always focused on what's going on around him and other people that he can help, that he can serve, that he can feed, that he can love. And I want to encourage you today, focus on others. In a moment of isolation, don't focus on yourself. In a moment of isolation, focus on others. Send a text message, send an email, send a letter. In any way, focus on others. People need to be encouraged during this time. And verse 6 of Acts chapter 3 says this, but Peter said, I have no silver or gold, but what I do have, I give to you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. Oh, I think that's exactly where so many of us are. I mean, even as I say, like, encourage people, you're like, I'm not good on the phone. I don't want to text. It could be awkward. Don't focus on yourself. Focus on others. They said, I don't have money, but you know what you do have? But you do have Jesus. You want to help people, but you don't know how. You don't know what to offer. Money, I mean, quite frankly, like, we're not in just a pandemic. We're in a financial crisis. That I know many people who have lost their jobs during the season. I know many people who have got their hours cut back. And so you're reading the story and you're like, I don't have money. I'd love to be generous, but I don't have money for this season. I can't even go outside. Like, what are you talking about? So practical things are taken away. Maybe you're in poor health and you're like, I can't talk to people. I'm worried about those types of things. You feel too old or too young. See, I want to tell you this, and for this to be one of the most important things you hear today, offer what only you can offer. I think you got to offer what only you can offer. God only made one of you, and what do you have to offer? You can offer hope. I don't think we realize that. You can offer hope during this season. You can offer healing during this season. You can offer light during the season. You can offer Jesus during this season. I think we're in such a time that we've never been in before, that we can offer hope to humanity like we've never been able to offer before. And I want you to know that you're a carrier. You carry hope. People catch what you have. Hope spreads. It's contagious. I mean, we can't say that right now. But like, you think about it, when it comes to hope, when it comes to life, like you have hope and it is contagious. Hope is a story that spreads so fast. I mean, jump to the end of this passage in Acts chapter 3, verses 8 and 10. Let's read this and realize what's going on here. And leaping up, man, I don't have money, but I got Jesus. So this lame beggar, he leaps up. He is healed instantly. He stood. He began to walk. He entered the temple with them, walking and leaping, praising God. He's filled with joy. He's filled with life. And all the people saw him walking and praising and recognized him. Wait a second. Isn't that guy who sat by the beautiful gate of the temple asking for alms? Well, this is so important what it says next. And they were filled with wonder and amazement at what had happened to him. I bet you anything, people didn't go home that day, get to their house, and Hey, honey, how was the temple today? Oh, it was good. Oh, yeah, it was fine. You know, the usual. That's not what happened. You know what happened? Oh my word. You'll never guess what happened. It was the craziest thing. You know the guy that's always begging outside the beautiful gate? I mean, oh my word. Like, there he is sitting there. And these two guys, they walked up. And next thing you know, he's worshiping inside. Like, he got healed. Like, that's because a story of hope is spread like wildfire over and over and over. That story would get told over and over and over and over and over and over. In the midst of a dark time in our world, spread a story of light and it'll get spread over and over and over and over. Can you picture this with me? The day when you're watching the news or comes across on your phone, you get a notification. It says that there's a cure for COVID-19 is available or a way to prevent from spreading this thing, this pandemic. We got a cure or we have a way to prevent it. Instantly that story is going to be told. Instantly that story is going to be crazy. Instantly that story is going to be wild. Instantly that story is going to go viral and everyone's going to be telling about it over and over. What do you think will happen when that good news comes? It will spread. See, because good news will spread uncontrollably. Good news is contagious. It spreads. What you offer, being a Jesus follower, knowing Jesus, is you offer the good news. See, what we're looking for is a cure for our physical. But what Jesus offers is a cure for our spiritual. He offers us so much more to life. I mean, kind of in closing, I want to give an opportunity for people to meet that cure. I think maybe even some of us today, even as you follow Jesus, you might say, man, I really need to rededicate my life. Or I really need to recognize like what's going on in this moment, that I've really lost hope. I've lost this. I'm really down. I don't know about you, but there's times during this that I felt lonely, that I felt lost, that I felt, man, I don't want to do this. This is where we get to converse about that. I want to make sure, just remind you in those comments, begin to write that. There's people that are available to you. I want to give an opportunity for people to meet Jesus, and you'll see a little pop-up in just a second that you'll be able to click that if you want to give your life to Jesus. There are people prepared to pray with you today, to be able to partner and be able to walk with you through that moment. And if that's you today, I want you to take that opportunity. Go ahead and click that. It's popped up already. Go ahead and click that, have that moment. And we want to celebrate. Come on, we'll celebrate with you. So many great things are happening. You want to give your life for the first time or rededicate. This is that moment to do that. But let's go ahead and pray together and welcome people into the family of God. Father, we thank you that we are giving our lives to you, that you are always available, and that you're greater than any cure of a virus, that you're the cure of humanity, that you satisfy our souls and our lives. We love you. And today we recognize, we click this button, but really we say yes. We give our lives. We surrender everything. We pray for lives that are being handed over to you right now. May they be something that is just a massive transformation in just a moment. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, we're so excited. If you click that button, you're getting prayed for right now and you're conversing. Hey, add something in the comments. Hey, we're going to go back into a worship song. Then Kara and I are going to continue our conversation through this as we kind of dialogue about the message today. We'll be back right after worship.
I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Oh, I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Belongs to you, Jesus. You take the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Oh, we sing it. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Oh, it's declare. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Yeah. Oh, you take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. And I'm gonna see victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. And I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. It belongs to you, Jesus.
All right, that was such a great time of worship. That was such a good message.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
love it when you encourage me. You're so nice.
Well, I think there's some really great talking points, some really great conversational things to kind of go over right now. One of the things is what are some of the interruptions that you're facing right now that are changing your perspective drastically? Go ahead and write those comments in right now. For us, one of the biggest things, one of the biggest interruptions is we have 3 kids at home.
We love them so much.
We have 8-year-old, 6-year-old, and a 2.5-year-old. Man, we've been used to childcare. We've been used to having that time apart. I've become a stay-at-home mom. Shout out to all the other stay-at-home moms out there
you're
now.
A homeschool,
oh wait, yeah, homeschool mom,
stay-at-home mom.
both and full time.
I don't know if I told you this. I walked down the stairs today, and I looked and I saw you and I saw the kids, and I just thought to myself, "Wow, everyone's still here." Like everybody is just here all the time right now. Okay, that's a major. I mean, what I'll call my kids an interruption, but. They're interrupting.
Quite
They're
a bit.
interrupting kind of like
Quite
a
a
flow,
bit.
a regular life, more normal. Yeah.
Yeah, our workspace is different.
Yeah, my office currently is the end of our bed. What's that table called?
Just a folding table.
like a poker card table. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a card table.
Yeah, work just looks so different. Our hours look different. Things are so crazy. But I think the biggest thing is how are we going to utilize these interruptions? How are we going to change our perspective into how we can further God's kingdom and what we have and how life looks so differently?
I think one of my favorite things that we even just as a family, I'm curious to what the comments are as you're kind of putting those things in there is turning this interruption into a positive. So Kara's now, and many people are homeschooling their kids right now out of necessity. But there's kind of a worship element to your homeschooling moment where you've been sitting at the piano and singing "King of My Heart" and
This Little Light of Mine. They really love the part where they don't let Satan it out. And then what's the other one? Hide it under a bushel. No, and they all yell really, really loud.
I was working upstairs, and all of a sudden I just hear this, like I can hear them singing it, and then out of nowhere, it's just like this. No, at Berkeley, everyone's just loving it. I love that we're doing that, but it is an interruption and work and our flow and our space, alone time. Like I don't need alone time, but right now I'm like, oh my gosh, can I be alone?
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever been so intentional about doing my devotions with my kids because otherwise I'm not gonna do them. I mean, I get up early and I do my own devotions, but then to teach them and have the opportunity to teach them in that
really
time,
special,
it's really fun. But the question that Kyle leaves us with really is like, what do we have to offer, and how can we be used in God's kingdom right now?
Yeah, right
we
now,
don't
yeah.
we don't need to wait for anything else. We don't need to wait for COVID to be over. We can offer hope, like he said, right now. I think some of the practical ways you can do it is shout out, text to your community members. Make sure you call people, FaceTime people. I know people are doing that a bunch right now, but think of the people who are lonely. Think of the people you met on the soccer field. Think of your kids' friends' parents and how they're doing. Reach out, step out into that uncomfortable, because I think we've been really comfortable with our lives, and this is an opportunity to go into the uncomfortable.
I love it so much. And and we're honest, like, it's hard.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I've sent a lot of texts to people that I don't really even know, and checking in on them and making sure. And there's some unsure things, but
the number one response has been like, oh my gosh, thank you for even
Yeah.
checking in on me. I think that's really special for us to be doing that, but then for other people to be doing that as well. I know the stamps,
you were saying
stamps
this.
have been going up, like the books of stamps. I don't know how to say it. Selling of the books of stamps has been going up.
They're selling more of them.
Yeah, send an encouraging card through the mail, those sorts of things. Join a community through Zoom. Like our view groups are meeting through Zoom calls now, which is so amazing. But we are spreaders of hope.
Make sure you're even putting that in the comments. Like, what do you have to offer?
Yeah,
How are you being light?
Give others
Give other people
ideas.
ideas. I feel like sometimes we get stuck. Like, I don't know. Like, listen to a good idea right now, or maybe even something that we said is a good idea. That can be a good idea, but. Yeah. Oh man, I've loved our time that we've been able to kind of chat and sit on the couch with you, and it feels really good to be here, and we get to finish our time with worship, and Andrew and Ryan are coming back. They're gonna lead us in 2 songs, and then Jesse and Josh are gonna close us with kind of some next steps and some things to do. And so you're loved, you're believed in. Kara and I, we're signing off here, but join us for worship. Make sure you're commenting during the worship set, the stuff you're liking, and then wait for Jesse and Josh at the very end.
Yeah.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, yes, healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Sing that again. Oh, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh, yeah. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 Oh, it's who you are. It's who you are, Jesus. The way you make miracle worker. It's who you are. Yeah. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop, 'cause that is who you are. 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 You're the waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh yes, we declare this. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you. Come on, we say, that is who you are. That is who you are. That is who you are. That is who you. Lift your voices. That is who you are. That is who you are. That is who you are. It's who you are. Oh, it's who you are. We worship you. Oh, we worship you. So take me back. Take me back to the garden. Lead me back to the moment I heard your voice. Take me back to communion. Lead me back to the moment I saw your face. And it was oh so simple. It was easy to love. And no space between us. It was easy to trust. 'Cause you are closer, closer than my skin. And you are in the air I'm breathing. Here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating again. It feels so good to know you are my friend. 'Cause this is the garden. grace, I find you close. This is communion. This is here in the place I'm fully known. And it was oh so simple. You're so easy to love. No space between us. You're so easy to trust. 'Cause you are closer, closer than my skin. And you are in the air I'm breathing. Here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating again. It feels so good to know you are my friend. 'Cause this is where I'm meant to be. Just me and you and me. And I don't have to prove a thing. You've already approved of me. 'Cause this is where I'm meant to be. Just me and you and me. And I don't have to prove a thing. You already approved of me. This is where we're meant to be. Right here. It's me and you and me. Right here. And I don't have to prove a thing. You've already approved of me. This is where we're meant to be. Yeah, it's me and you and me. And I don't have to prove a thing. You've already approved of me. 'Cause you are closer, closer than my skin. And you are in the air I'm breathing. Here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating again. It feels so good to know you are my friend. You are. Cause this is where I'm meant to be. Just me and you and me. And I don't have to prove a thing. No, I don't. You've already approved of me. Come on, one more. 'Cause this is where I'm meant to be. Just me and you and me. And I don't have to prove a thing. You've already approved of me.
Well, hey, it's been such an amazing opportunity to gather together today and worship. But remember, it doesn't stop here. What you're able to do is go online to viewchurch.co/church@home and follow along with everything else that we have going on throughout the week to help you engage with Jesus.
There are so many opportunities across so many platforms that you can find at that website. We have our View Youth meeting on Tuesday mornings for Tuesday Hustle. We have things for kids. Pastor Allison is reading Bible bedtime stories on weeknights for those kids. We have sisterhood chats for our ladies on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. And we have our live devotions at view.church that happen every day at 11 a.m. So make sure you go to viewchurch.co/church@home. You can find a link to all of those sites. And we just cannot wait to see what God does throughout this week. Make sure you connect throughout the week. Make sure you are involved. And we are so excited to be able to see you, interact with you, and make sure we catch you back here next week for Church Online. We love you and believe in you. Have the best week. View Church.